Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Today, I wanted to share a replay from a broadcast from a very special Patrons Club event that I recently had, which featured a very, very talented textile artist. Her name is Althea Chrome, and she's an amazing master miniaturist. She does beautiful, beautiful needlework in very, very, very small scale. And I had her on as a special Patrons Club event for those who contribute to my efforts for this channel, as well as my Meet the Miniaturist series live streams, which are generally open and free. So my Patrons Club is a very special group of people who contribute to my efforts. And I wanted to share Althea Chrome and this Patrons Club event as a special drive to encourage folks to contribute and participate and become a Patrons Club member of the D. Thomas Miniatures Patrons Club. I'm going to pop the link in the comment section below. This is very, very much, pay as you want, pay as you go. This is not like a Patreon account where, every month you have to pay. This is really just generally what you want to contribute when you want to contribute. But you'll be on all my mailings and you'll be invited to all of my special club events like this one that I'm going to share. Most of them are exclusive and it is exclusive content for those Patrons Club members. So enjoy this very much. And if you have any questions at all, pop them in the comment section, but like and subscribe. And thank you for being here right now. All right. Bye. Right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we're starting. Say hello in the chat box. How is everybody doing? Welcome to this Patrons Club event. Say hello in the chat box. I will say hello to you guys. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Lucy and Mary. We have some new people who've just joined. Hi, Connie. Corey, good to see you. Yeah, definitely. Say hello in the chat box. I'm opening up the chat box. I should have. Hey, Beth, good to see you. Mary's saying hello to everybody. I'm just going to wait like literally 1 minute for some other folks to join because it's like 1 minute early. Before I just get through maybe some announcements, and then we'll bring up our special guest. Hi, Benny. Great to see you. How's everybody doing today? What's today? Today's Thursday. Yeah. Let's see, we'll wait another minute. Actually, let me go ahead and start with some welcomes and hellos. And thanks for joining this Patrons Club event. Good to see everybody. Welcome to some new members who are joining for the first time tonight. Listen, if you guys ever want a link to previous Patrons Club events, just send me a quick note and I will send it to you. In the meantime, I'm going to try to figure out a place where I can put these replays where we can all find them. I don't know if a Facebook group is going to work because I don't think everybody's on Facebook. So maybe you could just plop an idea in the chat box of where I can house these materials so that you can have access to them whenever you want. Maybe I'll create a special YouTube channel, something like that. But let me just go through some of the events and happenings. If you guys don't know, the Tom Bishop Show is coming up next week. I hope you all have your tickets. I hope you have your hotels booked. It's going to be an awesome weekend. I think we've been away from the show scene for too long, and it's going to be great to get back. I'm excited about that. May 6th and 7th, the Ann Arbor Dollhouse and Miniature Show is happening. On May 15th, the Lancaster, Pennsylvania show is happening. And then in Cleveland, May 20th and 21st. These are all the local shows, which, we got to support the local shows, which kind of, always merge into the bigger shows. We got to support the little guys. Ultimately, they can become bigger guys. So go to them if it's in your area or if it's even travelable. So yeah. So Stephen, yeah, it could be YouTube or maybe Google Drive. Good idea. In terms of housing some of these replays. A couple of things on media. The Great Big Tiny Design Challenge. I don't know if you guys have been able to catch that program. It's out of the UK. It is a reality-based show about miniatures. I've seen a couple of the episodes. It's really good, and I recommend it. In fact, it's been tough for people to get it because it is a UK-based program. However, I am going to copy and paste a link because you can find this show on Daily Motion. So copy and paste this if you're really interested in seeing. The episodes are on Daily Motion. You can weekly, they're added to it. So look for it that way. The good news about this show is they're actually planning for a second season. So miniatures continue to be very hot. I also had a recent Meet the Miniaturist. It wasn't a live event. I'm trying something new. I'm pre-recording some of them. I met with miniaturist. Her name is Karen Butler from Kennedy Miniature Construction LLC. Always trying to get all of that. And I hosted that separately, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat box if you guys want to go watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. You can always just go to my YouTube channel. Host and panelists. Yep, you guys are seeing these, right? Tell me. Yeah, hi Gail in the UK. It's kind of late for you. Good to see you though. You can always catch my replays of my Meet the Miniaturists live streams, which you guys all help to support. So thank you very much. So you can always catch the replays on my YouTube channel. I am still working on getting the St. Louis Museum of Miniatures on a Meet the Miniaturist. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait. I hope that comes through. And then two more things. If you are looking to sell your collection, or if you have a family member or a friend that you are selling a collection on behalf of, I have a webinar that's happening this weekend, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It's called How to Sell Your Miniatures Collection. I'm going to take you all through all of the options for selling a collection. If you are selling on behalf of a friend or even yourself, whether you're selling or if you even want to donate, I'm going to take you through all of your options. As you guys know, I sell miniatures, so I could always be an option. So that's Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'm putting the link in the bio there. If you want to join on Saturday. And then finally, I am working on a new webinar live stream event. It's called Tips to Collecting Miniatures. Because what's happening is, there are a lot of people getting into miniatures right now. And in order to help sort of step up people, getting into the miniatures game, a lot of folks just don't know how to be a collector. What does it take to collect? What are the things you need to know about? I'm going to put this in the chat box too. This is a pay-per event. However, if you really want to join, I'm happy to add you as a guest, but you got to send me just send me an email and I'll put you on. You're not seeing the links. Let's see. Not seeing the links. Can you guys see them now? Hold on. Let's see. No. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to resend a couple of the links. Please, one moment, please, while I get this. Where is my... All right, hold on. Tips to collecting. I'm going to put that here. Let's see. All right, I just put that on. You should be able to see that. That's to everyone. Selling your collection. I'm going to put that there. I'm sorry that didn't work the first time. And I'm also going to put the location of the Daily Motion episodes from the Great Big Tiny Challenge. So look for that. Did that go through? Seeing them. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So thank you for that. And then, so we got a whole bunch of things. So if you want to join that, how to be a great collector, I want to open that up to the Patrons Club as, complimentary. So just send me an email and I'll add you. I think I have to add you as a panelist. You won't have a video on, so you can join without having to pay. So with that, I would like to introduce my very special guest, Althea Chrome. So hold on one more minute while I get her video going and introduce Althea. Althea is a Indiana-based miniaturist, artist. Wait, hold on. We're not seeing her yet. Hold on. We're going to get her.
Here I am, Darren.
Oh, she's there. You can see you. Oh, hold on. Oh, there you are. Yay. Perfect. So yeah, so let me just set this up. Althea is Indiana based. She's really best known for her incredible micro knitting. It's masterful work. It really is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. And I'm just so glad we're going to get a chance to chat with you. Your work has been seen all around the world. It's in museums. It has been in exhibitions. It's been in galleries. And we had a little bit of a conversation offline about just how you've recently blown away the knitting world with your work. It's just really, really all amazing stuff. I guess my first question is, why knitting? How did knitting come about? Why was that your choice in art, in pursuing art?
You know, my grandmother was a knitter.
Mm.
And what she used to knit was the ugliest, mustard yellow pantsuit with polyester, the worst. But she was obsessed. She was obsessed with it. Like anytime you ever saw her. Anyway, I don't know. It just so, and then my mother didn't knit, skipped a generation.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, in college, it was just something, it was like I started trying to knit, and my college roommate, she was Irish and she knitted in the Irish style, which was you'd
Oh.
tuck a needle under your arm. And once she taught me how to read the patterns, it
Mhm.
was like learning a new language. It was really like enlightening for me. I don't know, I just dug it.
Yeah.
And I
Full
loved
scale. We're talking about full scale
full
knitting.
scale. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And really, from the time I started it, I was at every new project. This is basically, this gives you an insight into what drove me to this. Um, I just always was looking for a challenge. It was like, so I would go to the knitting store and I'd say, okay, what's harder than that last one? What's got more colors? Teach me how to do cables. Teach me
Yeah.
how to make gloves. How do I turn a heel on a sock? You know,
So when did you move to small scale?
it was over 20 years ago. Really, I was pregnant with triplets.
Oh
So
my
that was 20, they're going to be, I think, 24 this year.
God.
So, and so I was making little things, like little hats for them
Yeah,
and
but
booties,
not miniatures, just small
not
things.
miniatures. But then I sort of I got into like, oh, I'm gonna just really go small. It's like I'm always pushing myself.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so I started, trying to design. Well, the thing that was really kind of the light bulb moment was that doing miniatures enabled me to design my own stuff rather than following a pattern. And that was really liberating. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's anything I could imagine in my brain. I didn't have to spend $200 on a bunch of pretty yarn. I
Yeah.
could, get some thread and make something and design it myself. So that's I just love doing that still.
So we see some of your work behind you, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up some slides so that people can see it. We're gonna
Okay.
go through some of your most recent works, but what was like some of the first few things you made in miniature?
Oh, well, I made a little man's cardigan, which, okay, so if you look at this is like 70 stitches to the inch. You know how you would measure the knots in a rug.
Yeah,
That little sweater was maybe 11 stitches to the inch, and I just thought it was amazing.
it was pretty bulky,
It was
but still
terrible.
small.
It is the worst. I still have it. I
Oh,
have
you
it.
do?
I mean, I could maybe show it to you if you talk me into it, but it's horrible. And people always say, no, no, I'm sure it's just going to be great. But I'm like, trust me, it is bad.
I think it would be great to see just that piece side by side with, where how far you have come, and
Mhm.
and where that's a great thing to show anyone who's just starting out.
Yeah,
Look at,
exactly.
but it is
Exactly.
20 years later.
And
Just
I do, when I teach classes, I do like to
yeah,
bring some of those first pieces because, I'll say,
yeah,
look, it can be done.
yeah. I did want to mention, not only do you show, in museums and exhibitions, but you are an IGMA fellow, and rightfully, deservedly so. When did that happen?
I think I became fellow in 2008,
Oh,
maybe.
eight. Beautiful. That's
Yeah. So I
yeah,
can't remember how long in between artisan and fellow, but
yeah.
first came artisan, then came fellow.
Yeah, that's such a wonderful accomplishment and so deserved.
Thank you.
All right, so let me see if we're going to get into the technical parts because I have tons of questions about technique and technically based how you got there. But the other thing that we really need to acknowledge is you are self-taught. It's not like you went to school for this.
No.
So and it goes back to that the miniature that is like 11
Mhm.
stitches to
Yeah.
now 70 or 80, or is it 50? What is the
I
number?
can, I mean, so I can, give a quick little, this is a teeny tiny sweater. I mean, you can hardly see it. It has a sheep on one side
Oh my
and
God.
well, a ewe, a
Yeah.
female sheep, and a ram, a male sheep on the other side. So this is like 80 stitches to the inch.
Oh, 80.
No,
Oh my
we'll
gosh.
see if maybe I can take it to 100.
Well, let's talk about that. Is that something that you continue to do? You challenge yourself?
I do, but I have to say, like, that's not fun. Doing that little, that was not fun. All the other stuff's really fun for me, but that is like, it drove me to drink one night, just to be honest. I had to just say, all right, it's whiskey time.
I can
No,
only
no.
imagine. I can only imagine. I'm gonna bring up some of the more recent
Okay.
works of yours, but I do want to, before we do that, I want to make sure I am putting your web address in the box here so people can see more of your work, see more of your photographs. But if they also wanted to reach out, they can. I want to do this before I forget, but you're altheachrome.com, pretty simple to know. But you can also see, because I don't have all of the photographs, especially the tiny, tiny pieces you just showed. I don't
Yeah.
have all of those, but if you
That's
want,
the
if
newest
folks,
one, the little one. Yeah.
yeah, if you guys want to see them, they're on your website, but also
Yeah.
you have a great Instagram account too,
Oh,
uh,
thanks.
which I
I
think
don't really know how to use Instagram very well. I need some tutoring on that.
you have a nice following. You have like 5,000 followers.
Yeah, it's
So,
not bad. I could do better probably, but
so all right. So let us talk about, so I have three pieces that we're going to share. I don't know if they're in order of how you made them, but we're going to end up with your most recent work. But talk a little bit about this piece.
so this is the nativity, and that's the back of the sweater. Now, uh, that is a piece, a nativity, a medieval triptych. And so I had for like, I'll usually, these big pieces I think about for years. So I had been thinking of wanting to do a triptych because it's like a cardigan is a back and two front panels, just like a triptych. So I love this one. It's
Now, was
it,
this for a special event? Was this for an event?
yeah, so
Yeah.
I submitted this as a piece for the Miniature Masterworks show, for the, they had competition.
Yeah.
And so I won one of the prizes for that. And so, yeah, that's the front of the piece. My friend Bill Robertson, he hand turned 12, I think they're 18 karat gold buttons, or sorry, they're 18 karat gold, but there are 12 of them. And there's one for every month that it took me to knit. So,
Well,
well,
that was going to be one of my two questions. How long did it take you? Which you just answered. It took a
yeah,
year.
well,
Um,
yeah,
you
yeah.
talked about the thinking process, like you've been thinking about this for a long time. How long have you been thinking about it before it came to fruition? And was it the event that kicked it in, or did you start it, then the event happened? Like, what's that process like?
Yeah, well, okay. So at one point, a collector friend asked for a Christmas sweater. And
Oh,
this is what popped into mind. So this was probably 10 years ago, maybe at least.
yeah.
So this popped into my brain just immediately, and plus my ex-husband, he's a medievalist. And so we've seen so many triptychs and they're just so beautiful, and the golds are luscious. All the colors are so luscious. I had, so it's been in my head. But what she wanted was something a little more sort of modern and traditional, but I
Mhm.
kept thinking about this one, and
Wow.
so finally, but honestly, Darren, it's my skill level, like I have to wait sometimes, you just kind of, I'll knit something and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. But like, I'm always thinking I could have done it better. I could have done this differently. So, even though I very, very rarely repeat a piece,
Yeah.
I'm always thinking like, if I were to do this again, I would do it differently. And when we get to the Warhol, that's one of the pieces.
And I was going to actually bring that. I was going to actually, because that is the next piece that we're going to talk about. Oh, let's just take one more look. This is
Yeah,
one more of the triptych, which is just
yeah.
extraordinary. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank
But
you.
yes, the Warhol piece, which, we just started to talk about, you've done more than one. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's right. And so the first one, my skill level was such that in at the size that I wanted it, which is maybe about 1.5 inches tall, 1.25 inch wide ish, um, that I could get 4 of Marilyn's faces, right? I could do a good job and just get 4. But I had always thought, gosh, I'd really like to get the 9 on there. I want
Oh,
the grid of 9. And so, but it took 10 years or so, maybe more even, since I did the first one, to be able to do it at this level. So I can knit with thinner thread.
that was my next question.
I can knit with thinner needles now. And
Yeah.
that's how I can achieve that.
I want to take a question because it's relevant. What are the size of the needles that you use? And you make your own needles too, right?
Yeah. So like this one was made with, so inch wise, 0.015 inch diameter. And then the little teeny itty bitty horrible torture one, this one was like 0.01 inch, and so that, how many millimeter, I don't know, you guys can ask
What does that mean? You buy the needle, like where, or you make
no,
it?
no, okay, sorry. No, I buy surgical stainless steel wire.
Oh, it's
Um,
wire?
yes,
It's
yes.
wire.
And,
They're not
and
really needles.
it's straightened, and it's important that it's surgical because that means that it will not corrode and it has a very high tensile strength. So it won't break because I used to buy needles from this place in Berkeley called Lascisse, which is this amazing place for fiber artists. All miniature fiber artists know about that place.
Fiber artist, that's the good word. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a wonderful place. And they do have needles down to like 8/0, which is pretty small. But their needles broke. So I'd be in the middle of a row
Oh,
and boop, the needle would crack and where the stitches all fall off. So it's just, it's a nightmare.
but that's when you turn to surgical, which they don't
Yeah.
break.
So I cut them, I grind them, I polish them, and that I make my own needles. And recently I've discovered titanium, which is interesting. I'm experimenting with using that. And that also comes in different grades, like strength and everything. Like they use titanium on braces.
Oh, goodness.
So that's really thin, but it can be a little stiffer. And if it's like because like the more bendy it is, the harder it is to manipulate.
Right.
So the titanium seems like maybe a little stiffer.
It's amazing that you're still obviously still learning, but you're also like
always learning,
you're also
always
looking
learning.
for new materials, new ways to improve how you do it, the materials you use to do it.
Oh yeah. And I've started signing everything, like now I'm doing it so the inside of my sweaters I've actually knit. This is embroidered, but I like to sign it with thread now,
Yeah. And what made you decide to do that versus what? Just like ink?
Well, I used to print up little itty bitty tiny labels on fabric. But when you are printing that small, it just becomes impossible to read. It's just all kind of blurry.
I love that you knit it. I mean, that's a really nice touch. I mean, that's just, it doesn't get, and it can't fall off and all that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the in progress, but then when we get to the next piece, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth, but talk a little bit about the process here.
Yeah. So here we are, I'm okay. So one thing that I've like decided I like to do with sweaters, Darren, if you're not a knitter, you're not going to know this, but they're knit in pieces. So you knit the sleeves and those are pieces. And then you knit the front and both fronts. If you're doing a cardigan, you knit the back. But then you have to sew them all together. And so there's a seam, the seam on each side. So I like to try to avoid as many seams as possible. So what I do is I knit the entire thing together. So the front and the back are all knit together. I do knit the sleeves separately, but once I get up to the armpits, I attach them. And here I've gotten some length going from the armpits, but when I
Yeah.
do that, I actually have to use like 4 needles because it's just all very tight. So I have to use, it has to bend. So I use needles, but once I get it going up, then it kind of, it loosens up and I'm able to keep knitting. I like to always have the image. In this case, obviously, you know, Marilyn, with the Starry Night, I had Van Gogh's painting in front of me all the time, which is so nice. I love Van Gogh. Anyway,
so just one of the benefits of is it the benefits of not of having it on one panel and seamless is it just looks cleaner, right?
it looks cleaner. Exactly. So the only seam you have is under the arms. So it's the underarm seam.
But the level of technical difficulty is exponential because you're not sewing all the pieces together.
I don't know. I mean, you know, it's hard to sew pieces together too. One of my favorite knitters, Alice Starmore, she knits everything in it. Well, I don't know everything, but she knits the whole thing all in one piece in a tube. And then she does this thing called a steek where she actually cuts the knitting. You know, it's crazy, but she's got this amazing technique for doing it. And that also keeps everything really neat and
that's
tight.
micro knitting or
Oh no, oh God, no, but she's this amazing Scottish, you know, she's very creative and she's like, it's been an inspiration to me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about inspiration. So this is your latest piece, which is Starry Night. And I mean, they're all amazing. Does one get better than another? I mean, this is just incredible. We're actually going to get to see this in Chicago. It's premiering. You guys are seeing this sort of first now, but we'll see it live in Chicago next weekend. Let's talk about this. So where did this inspiration come from?
Yeah, so this is another that I have been just dreaming of forever, but I really didn't. This was going to be the trickiest one, I knew, because of that sort of post-impressionist, you know, like the brush strokes and everything, you know, that painterliness. You can, you know, with Van Gogh, of course, you can see everything. Well, that's really hard to do with knitting because knitting is very much mathematical grid. You know, it's a grid. It's you know, pixels. That's what my patterns look like. They're pixels. So how do you make little square, you know, things? So what I did was I invented a technique of taking my thread, the thinnest thread that I have, which is a 100 weight silk. Some of them are 1 or 2 ply, some are 3 ply, and I split the plies.
We're gonna do that.
So yeah, it's just, it was crazy. I was like, what am I doing? This is crazy because when you split silk, when you unfurl a spool of thread, silk it's fuzzy, it's unruly. It gets tangled because it has a memory. Even though I wet it and would try to straighten, it wanted to, you know, kind of coil back up. This photo that you're showing now is when I got up to the neck. I wanted to use really short, like those are like 2 inches maximum length. And I would be so focused in because I had my magnifiers on that I wouldn't notice that all the stitches on one of the needles, because I was knitting in the round, so there's like 3 or 4 needles there, they were falling off. It was driving me crazy. So I cut up a cork, and that's what those little things on the ends of the needles are, cork.
To keep them separated.
To keep the stitches from falling off the end, like jumping off the cliff.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so what I did is I created basically like a palette of thread by taking these single plies of silk and then combining them with others. So I would
have a picture there.
Yes. So then this is something I've never done on a piece before, but this was a sample to see, okay, well, if I mix a little bit of YLI 03V plus YLI 209, what's it going to look like when it's knitted up? So that was like, and that's a part of it. I kept going up, you know, and even while I was knitting the sweater, I'd be like, I don't know if I like that color combo. So I would, try something else, but I knit it on the sampler first.
That was going to be my question. So there are still unknowns as you're diving in.
Oh my
And
God. I mean, honestly, Darren, I'm the kind of person, like, if I have a recipe in front of me,
yeah,
I'm 99% guaranteed to not follow it. I don't even follow my own patterns. If I design it, so I have my computer on my lap at all times,
yeah.
and I'm basically just changing it as I go.
And the pattern as well.
Yes,
You're like,
change the
no,
whole
there
thing.
needs one more yellow stitch here.
Exactly. Or like, oh, you know what? I think I could put another little house down there, like the little village down below.
Oh,
Like,
really?
oh, I'm gonna stick another house in there. So I would do things like that. Yeah.
Wow, that is just
Yeah.
incredible. And then look at the close up here.
I know. Okay, so I tried to get a picture inside because it is signed Althea Chrome with the date inside the collar.
In the collar.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were trying to do? It's still a beautiful picture just because it's so
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to,
Oh.
if you look real close, you can see the E and the A, like just barely.
I just think it's a beautiful photograph and it just
Thank you.
pulls out the detail.
Yeah. And there's, I sort of embroidered I have 18 karat gold thread, and I embroidered some of that into it as well, along the shoulders and the sky. So actually it's hard to see,
It makes it
there,
pop.
but it sparkles, you turn it and it'll sparkle at certain angles.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a question. I think you answered the question of what kind of yarn you use. And you
Well, it's thread. Yeah,
it's thread. And I mean, and splitting it was something new for you? Is that what we're
I've
saying?
never done that. No, it's crazy.
And that just made it even thinner. That's what we're saying?
Well, yes, it made it thinner, but then I took another color so that I created my own kind of color palette.
Oh,
So I would take kind of like a light blue and combine it with a dark blue or a purpley blue so that I could kind of get
because when those two tiny threads are put together, they're so tiny, you see a whole new color. Is that what we're saying?
It gives that kind of that paint stroke kind of look, yeah.
I mean, yeah, just
so you can see it a little bit up there on the shoulder in that picture that you're showing there. You can see, so it's kind of blue, purple, black,
yes,
it does kind of give that impression.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. That's just incredible. All right, I pulled this on because I wanted to just show a little bit about you actually
making our first cable.
Hold on, in action working.
Yeah,
how you actually talk about this.
Well, this was for a class because you know how those classes are, Darren. Everybody's gathered around and nobody can see what the heck you're doing. So I created a video for them to demonstrate. This was a class I did at Guild School of a vest, a cabled vest. Actually, this one right here. Well, you can't see, but I'll show it to you later. Yeah, so I'm showing them how I do my cables, and I use a sewing needle as my cable needle.
Oh, right. You can actually finish a whole piece in a Guild School class.
If you're really fast, yeah. I think I had one student that finished this particular one, and then another couple that got pretty close.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there something meditative about it? I mean, the Starry Night, you probably could never you could never relax.
Well, that's true because I was constantly changing colors, but it absolutely is, Darren. Yes, it's what I love about it. I mean, it is my, it's my meditative time.
That's what you do. I love how you talked about that. Would you consider yourself a fiber artist? Is that something that you would call yourself?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, we talk a lot about how, the miniatures world is, people don't understand it, but I think fiber art, people understand. It's just you're working in such a small scale.
It's a small scale. That's right. I mean, I'm a fiber artist and I like to focus on conceptual pieces, sometimes they are based on artists that I love, kind of, an homage, and sometimes they are a narrative that I just wanted, like a story that I want to tell, kind of thing. Here's the vest piece, you know,
I
that
love that piece. That
didn't-
just it just warms your heart when you
yeah,
see.
yeah.
I mean, all your pieces, trigger different feelings. Awestruck when you see Starry Night. The cable is it just makes you feel all warm and cozy.
Oh, for sure, for
It's
sure.
lovely. It's
Yeah,
just lovely.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So what are some of the things on your micro knitting bucket list? I mean,
Oh
what's
my God. Oh, I have something. I have something. Come on, the Archambaldo right there.
Oh, we're gonna see a little bit of something?
No, I have not started, but I'm going
Okay,
to tell
all
you
right.
this is my concept.
All
Okay,
right.
my mom's here.
Hi,
So,
Mom.
so this is. Do you know Archambaldo?
I don't, but I'm
Oh
gonna find out.
my God. Okay. So he was an artist in the 16th century,
Okay.
and he painted. He was like way ahead of his time. Okay,
Mhm.
like, and so he did these paintings that are like his faces are made with fruits and vegetables.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, I think you've probably seen something like
Yeah.
that before, right? So
For
anyway,
sure.
so my idea is to do that, but three-dimensional. So the back of the sweater will be like an Archambaldo face, but like, and it'll be little pieces of fruit, but
Yes,
it'll pop out.
but knit. Oh, double, triple explosion.
But I mean, again, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
But you are gonna do it.
But I'm gonna figure it out, we'll see.
Oh my God.
I like to borrow Nell Corkin's sassy little response when people say, like, how long did it take you to knit that? And
Yeah.
I now stole it from Nell, but it took over 20 years because
Right.
it
Just
takes
thinking about it.
the experience and just this, the skill level to finally get to it.
Wow. I am looking forward to seeing that. Let's see if we have any other questions before we wrap up this awesome Patrons Club event. We covered the yarns. We talked about the threads, the needles. Anybody have any other questions before we let Althea go? And I will see you in a week. I'm excited. I can't wait. And your table is always beautifully, beautifully done.
Thank you.
It's just awesome to come and visit and see your work. It is like visiting a museum. Everything is just so
I
beautiful.
try to,
presented.
display things nicely. I'll be at table 15 in the
All right, well,
in the B ballroom.
I will be there and I will see you. I hope some folks who are on now will be there.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. This has been such a treat. Your work is so glorious and so masterful and so wonderful. Thank you again for being with us today. It's been awesome.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody at home. Have a great rest of your day and night.
Bye.
Bye, Althea. Yay.